At dawn, an elderly voice in a narrow kitchen says quietly, "ខ្ញុំដាំស្រូវ មិនចាំបាច់ថែទាំមនុស្ស." I plant the rice, I don't plant people. It is said like a soft warning and a prayer all at once, delivered over the hiss of the cooking fire and a door that closes against the morning wind.
That line, short, clear, layered, is exactly the kind of thing I mean when I ask, what history does a single line of speech carry? Welcome to Ancient Echoes. I'm Sam Nang Bradley, and today we're reading Khmer Proverbs as microhistories. My co-host Rachana will join me for field reflections and small stories as we go.
Good to be here. Let me say up front, Proverbs turn up where people live their ordinary lives, at the hearth, on the riverbank, in the pagoda courtyard. They are practical, sometimes wry, often protective.
Today we'll move in stages. First, what a proverb actually is, and the kinds of lives those lines come from. Then we unpack 3 concrete sayings, one tied to rice and fieldwork, one born of river life, and one used in household or pagoda etiquette. We'll map how proverbs form and change, talk carefully about translation and ethics, and finish with clear listening prompts you can use to record proverbs ethically.
So, what is a proverb? At its simplest, a proverb is a short, repeatable line entrusted to everyday speech. But that simplicity is deceptive. Proverbs are compressions of experience, labor rules, weather warnings, kinship expectations, spiritual cautions, all wrapped in a line you can say in a doorway while handing someone a bowl of rice.
Yes, from a cultural standpoint, Proverbs do more than instruct. They encode relationships. Who gets fed first? Who speaks when? How to read a neighbor's mood. I once stood in a small house outside Battambang, and a grandmother said, with a grin, "This proverb settles the room." The line itself changed how everyone smiled and moved.
We can think of proverb families: work and harvest, kinship and duty, weather and water, ritual and the pagoda. Each family points to a set of practices and memories. For example, harvest proverbs often pack in labor wisdom, how to read the skies, how to time planting, how to divide work among kin. Those lines are micro-archives of labor history.
Let's unpack 3 proverbs. The first, a rice field line that many elders still say, "Bao men kitpelvelia vilcho." Roughly, if you don't read the season, time will roll away. On the surface, it tells you to observe the season, but listen closely. It carries knowledge about irrigation, shared labor schedules, the cost of a delayed transplant.
I remember that one used like a gentle reprimand, a father telling a son who lingers at the market. It wasn't just about time, it was about obligation. The deeper story is, if you ignore the field's clock, others pick up the slack, or the harvest suffers. That proverb holds a small moral economy.
The second proverb comes from river life. Dikdai baik dik min riei. When the banks break, the water doesn't explain itself. Literally a warning about floods, but figuratively it reminds households that natural events redistribute risk and reinforce communal care. It keeps a memory of riverine craft, of boat schedules, and the rhythm of the monsoon.
On a ferry at dawn, a boatman will mutter a line like that, and everyone on board quiets. There's a practical hush, people checking ropes, folding nets. It is both a weather report and a social cue. Prepare, share, and don't act like you own the river.
Third, a household and pagoda proverb. Mwat atiasrai man bandang knia. Polite words don't accuse one another. It's about preserving face and social harmony, passed along at meals and after ceremonies. But it also hides disagreements. Sometimes a polite line is the only way to note a problem without breaking social ties.
You hear it at weddings and funerals alike. The words keep grief and joy in the same breath. That double life, instruction plus social lubricant, is where the meaning runs deep. People use the line to teach younger family members how to speak in public.
Now, where do these sayings come from? Proverbs form in craft and market quips, in monkly admonitions, in a mother's half-joke at the cooking fire. They accrete variations, the same advice with different imagery in coastal and upland villages. So one line rarely has a single origin. We must be cautious about claiming provenance as if it were a museum label.
And when families migrate, the lines travel too, but they adapt. A proverb about rice may shift into a lesson about work in a new country. Sometimes the original sensory anchors, the smell of wet earth, the sound of temple bells, get replaced by new images. But the social functions endure: teaching, consoling, warning.
Translation is where trouble often begins. Literal word-for-word rendering can flatten humor, erase irony, or strip duty from a line. For example, the word used for face in Khmer carries social weight that English words like honor or reputation don't fully map. Tone, pause, who says it to whom, all shape the meaning.
Anthropologically speaking, context is everything. If you translate a household proverb in a caption without noting who said it and where, you risk exoticizing or even misattributing a private practice. Ask elders how they want their words shared. Sometimes the right move is to paraphrase the lesson and credit the speaker, rather than post a literal line.
That brings us to ethics and consent. If you're recording a proverb, say who you are, why you want the line, and how you will use it. A simple consent phrase in Khmer could be Kyum chong kotra samdaini dambairian nung chai kremleg tao nya sokchete. I'd like to record this saying to learn and to share. Are you comfortable? Always offer the option to anonymize or to limit how the recording is used.
Practical metadata to capture: who said it, or whether they prefer anonymity, when and where it was said, who was present, a short note about why it was said, and whether the speaker gives permission to post their words publicly. If there's any personal detail that could identify someone, protect it. Respect matters as much as curiosity.
Here are listening prompts you can use. 1. Can you tell me when someone taught you this saying? 2. Where would you say this proverb most often applies? 3. Are there other versions of the line in your family or village? 4. How would you explain this proverb to a grandchild who has never worked the field? These open questions invite stories, not just translations.
For social sharing, when you post a proverb, include one sentence of context: who said it and where, and credit the speaker. If the speaker prefers anonymity, say so. Tag community curators rather than posting raw identifying clips. That centers the people who steward these lines and reduces extraction.
A quick caveat: we mustn't reduce proverbs to tidy morals. Every saying contains variants, contradictions, and contested meanings. Present them as context-dependent. Show multiple versions when possible. That nuance is scholarship and respect combined.
If you try this at home or in your community, remember to listen more than you speak. Let the proverb lead to stories about labor, about love, about survival. Those stories are the deeper archives.
Before we close, a short exercise. Take a proverb you know from family. Write its words. Then write the scene where you first heard it. Who said it? What day it was? What objects were present? That small archive change makes the proverb human and accountable.
And share one line on social media if you can. A line, one sentence context, and credit. Tag Ancient Echoes and Sam Nong's YouTube channel so we can create a curated reel of proverbs and their backstories instead of just isolated quotes. That way, the lines travel with the people who gave them.
To sum up, A proverb is a living clue. Read it as labor wisdom, as family memory, as social practice. Respect its variations. Ask for consent. Capture context. And when you share, center the speaker. These small moves help keep a proverb whole as it travels.
Thank you for listening. If a proverb has carried you through a hard morning or a joyful night, tell us about it. Those lines are the places where culture and care meet.
That's our episode. For show notes and a full transcript with the consent language and the metadata checklist, visit our website and Sam Nang's YouTube for companion clips. Remember, when you post a proverb, give it scene, give its credit. Let's unlock the echoes of history together.